Right, everybody. Good morning and welcome to Operation Entrepreneur Business Impact Northwest annual celebration of military connected business owners during National Veterans Small Business Week. I'm Steve Watts-Ulrich. I'm an Air Force veteran. I'm the program director for the Region 10 Veterans Business Outreach Center at Business Impact Northwest. I'm a former business owner myself, and you can see my email address there on the screen. I'm a white male with short brown hair wearing glasses. My Zoom background is the Operation Entrepreneur logo, which looks very similar to the US flag. Before we get started with today's program, we're going to hear a brief message from Carrie Hurd, the District Director for the SBA offices in Seattle.
Hello, this is Carrie with the U.S. Small Business Administration in Seattle. I identify by she, her, and I'm of European descent. Today, I'm wearing a red sweater, and my background is the SBA logo and the military aircraft with an American flag flying out the back. How many times have you heard the military motto, "The only easy day was yesterday"? How about "whatever it takes"? Now, these military mottos may just sound like words, but they embody the spirit and the self-discipline of our veterans to always continue to improve and to never give up, which happens to also be attributes of successful entrepreneurs. This is why SBA is proud to partner with Business Impact Northwest to deliver our powerful programs. Whether it is pro bono high-quality counseling, connections, or training such as Operation Entrepreneur, Business Impact Northwest has SBA programs to help you be successful in your business. And when the time is right, Business Impact Northwest also delivers our SBA loan programs, and they can help brave veterans like you pursue your goals. Now, I understand that there's some incredible training this week, and so I'm very honored to help launch Operation Entrepreneur today. I wish you the best this week and have a great time.
Awesome. Thank you for those words, Carrie, who isn't with us live, but she is with us in spirit. This time, I'm going to introduce Joe Sky Tucker. Joe Sky Tucker is Business Impact Northwest Executive Director. We couldn't do any of this without Joe's leadership and support. So with that, Joe, take it away.
All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I want to thank the team behind the scenes who was working furiously to get me on here. Somehow missed the link and all of the emails, so that was my fault for not being prepared at all. But I just want to thank everyone for joining us. I want to especially thank Steve and the VBOC team for all their work to serve veterans across the region, not just here in our home state of Washington, but in Idaho, in Oregon, and Alaska as well. And so we're really excited to have Steve and his team taking this day to the next level, or this week to the next level. So we're really pleased about that. thank you all for joining us. We're really excited about what you're going to learn today. Really hope that you stay throughout the week. We have great panelists put together for you. I know we have Kat Mason, who anchors our Alaska work, who's going to take you through some fun stuff today. I want to just thank you all for your service. And if you need anything, we're here to help. Even if we can't provide the service, we want to find the service for you. So that's really the main thing. Have some fun, utilize our services, and then we'll connect you with whatever ways we can make your business better and stronger. And so thank you so much, and have a great session today. Thanks. Bye.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe. As I said, we couldn't do this without your support. We appreciate your support, your leadership, and support of our military connected business owners. So with that, as Joe mentioned, Kat Mason is with us. I'm about to turn control over to Kat here in just a moment. But a little bit about Kat. He's an Air Force veteran who has served in the Air Force. He can tell you more about that. He's a business coach and trainer based in Anchorage, Alaska. He is a veteran business owner with CMNA Consulting LLC, which is a marketing firm. So who better to talk to us today about social media marketing than Kat? So with that, I'm going to hand control over to you and take it away, Kat.
Everybody can hear me okay, I hope? Okay. Do I get control there, Steve?
You should have control.
Okay, all I see is my initial, my cover slide, I guess.
Yep, you should just go to hit the next arrow as soon as you click on and start controlling.
Yeah, nothing's happening.
All right, just tell me next slide.
There we go.
All right.
Yeah. Hey, let me see something here. Is that me or you?
That was you.
Okay, let's go back. So I see it's slow.
Yeah, I see your first slide.
Okay, on my end, all I see is I see the first slide.
Yep, there you
Okay, that'll work.
go. Awesome.
Okay.
Great.
It's like Steve said, my name is Kat Mason, and I like to tell people I did 40 years in the military. My father did 20 and I did 20 in the Air Force. I am a light-skinned black man wearing a dark blue and light blue striped shirt with a dark blue sport coat, and wearing with a salt and pepper beard, which I seemed to have once I got out of the military, and I'm wearing glasses as well. So let's talk about, this is kind of a big subject, so I had to narrow it down pretty much. We're talking about digital marketing. Okay, digital marketing it's one of those things that you have to do if you run a business. It's not an option, and getting to understand it can be a little bit daunting, but once you get moving and get help with it, it'll be easier to go forward. So, okay, here we go again, Steve. Tell you what, Steve, I just tell you, give me the next slide. Okay, this is what we're going to talk about. We're talking about digital marketing, SMART goals, the SEO, social media, and content marketing. Okay, what is digital marketing? Oh, you're going backwards. Next slide. Okay. Okay, basically it's your internet, your mobile devices, all your social media, the search engines that you utilize, such as Google, Bing, Yahoo, as an example, and other basically electronic channels to reach your customers. And that's as per investopedia.com, which is a site I highly recommend everybody to utilize. It's a very good site for doing research and for great explanations on business definitions and matters. I use it religiously. So next slide. Start with digital marketing. Okay, and it's huge. Okay, I'm not going to read everything because you guys can read it yourselves, but we're talking about email content. I mentioned the search platforms and the different various social media platforms that are utilized. Next slide. Okay, here's a little chart that covers the different aspects of digital marketing, and just understand that digital marketing is not advertising, it's marketing, okay, which is also one part of your marketing pie, okay? And there's different aspects of it and different areas, different channels that you will utilize to do your, to give yourself an online presence, okay? Next slide. Here's some channels for digital marketing: social media, influencer marketing. Influencer marketing are people that people tend to know, like your YouTube influencers or famous people that you utilize to help promote your brand. You have email marketing, content marketing, search engine optimization. Basically, we're talking about your websites and where it is placed, like on Google. Your pay-per-click, which is every time somebody clicks on your ad, you pay for it through the different affiliates you utilize. You also have affiliate marketing and mobile marketing, which basically means your iPhone, Android, whatever you utilize, basically your cell phone. Next slide, please. Okay, we're going to talk about what's called SMART goals. And SMART is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals. Okay, this is one of the things as a business coach I run into quite often, where I deal with customers who don't measure or understand. If I ask them, well, how do you know it's working? They can't tell me because they haven't set up a system where, hey, how do I measure it? Am I specific? And is it relevant to their businesses? Okay, and because of this, if you use SMART goals, it'll help you clarify exactly what is expected from your business, and it measures it. This way you're not guessing, you're not assuming anything, okay? So let's go to the next one. Next slide, please. Okay, we'll break down each part. Specific, obviously linked to the job description, department, the goals, the mission, and the overall goals and strategic plans. Answers the questions. I think about in the military, think about you putting together a battle plan. You want to be specific on what the job is to do to be a success in that particular strategy that you're putting together. Measurable, okay? It's how do you meeting the goal? Are you meeting it? Is it working? Is it not working? How? Like I said, it answers the questions, how. I'm gonna back up one to specific. I forgot to say it answers the questions who and what when it comes to your specific, who's your target market and what is it that you're offering your target market, okay? And measurable is how. Attainable, be realistic with your goals. You know, if you want your goal is to make $3 million in 1 month, you got to say, hey, is that really realistic? Can I get there? Or do I want 6,000 clients at one time? It has to be realistic, okay? That's how you might measure it. And is it relevant, okay? Is what you're doing relevant to what your business is, what your branding is, okay? And it defines, it allows you to focus in a certain area, okay? Instead of being broad. And what is the result that you expect from what you're doing? And time bonded, basically, hey, give yourself a time frame to get stuff done. Dealing with, as a business coach, I do this quite often, where I ask people, well, when do you plan on being up and running? Oh, you know, sometimes in this time of year. And what I end up doing, I am giving them a hard time. I say, hey, we want you up and running on this date at this particular time. And that's once they have a hard goal to meet, it makes it easier to attain it. Instead of being kind of open makes it too easy to put it off or to procrastinate. Next slide, please. Okay, here's some digital marketing goals. The idea is, hey, to increase website traffic, and understand you have to have a website. It's not an option, okay? To gain more social media followers. And understand your social media, make sure your social media is where your target market is. And it doesn't matter what you like in the way of social media. It's about your customers and your target market. Click. You need to have an email list. This is how a lot of times you capture them through your website to be able to get an email to put them in your database. These are your potential customers. Okay, so be able to reach out to them and let them know you're here to help, that you're offering them something of value and benefits. Okay, next, click. And it improves conversion rates. What you want to do, it doesn't matter. For example, social media, people say, well, I have 300 likes. Well, how many of those likes converted to money? It doesn't do any good if it's just likes. Likes doesn't improve your bottom line. This way, doing this and marketing and doing your goals, having your goals set, you can convert from just looking to actually buying your product or your service. Click. Okay, and get more social, get website and social media engagement. That means you want people not just looking at your stuff, you want to be engaging, asking you questions, wanting to learn more about you and your business, not just clicking through and then looking at it and keep going. Okay, next. Okay, now drive more click-through on paid ads. Now, click-through are things where if you have an ad pop up, you've all probably done this before, where you clicked on an ad on a different site and it sent you to that website of that particular business. That's what they're talking about. You want more click-through. When people see your ads on other websites or other venues, they click on it and go to your site. A good example like that is Pinterest. Pinterest is a good example because in Pinterest, you're not allowed to hard sell on Pinterest, but you can put your information, your photos or whatever of it, you click on it and it'll send it to your particular website. So that's a good example of how click-through on paid ads work. Okay, next. Okay, let's talk about search engine optimization. Next slide. Okay, like I said, SEO is the process of getting traffic from free organic editorial or natural search results in search engines. Okay, a good way for this is to do things like your blogs and everything else, which is information that is valuable and has benefits to your target market. Okay, and you want to choose sites that have more backlinks and the content is relevant to your site. And backlinks are things where if you have a particular article or blog you wrote about a certain subject and people want to know more about it, you can click on that backlink on that particular site and it'll send them to your site. Okay, and then you add it to yours, or you have a site, for example, if I want to know more about underwater basket weaving, I'd have a link in my website saying, hey, click on this and it'll send you to another site that has underwater basket weaving. That's what you want on the more information and the more helpful you are to your target market, the more they will respond to you and the more you also get more loyalty because they know that you are giving them something of value and benefits to them in particular. Click. I'm having fun saying click. Okay. Now we're talking about how to create an SEO strategy. First off, you need to create a list of keywords. These are certain words that allows you to be looked at by Google. Google sends out what's called they call it like a spider, and it looks for certain keywords when people are looking for certain things. And that spider will reach out and find which site has the most of those particular keywords, and will show up on their pages. Okay, excuse me, excuse me. Click. Okay, now, sorry about this. What you want to do, you also want to analyze Google's first page. What is on their first page that what companies are there and what keywords are they utilizing in your particular business that gets them on that first page. The first page, between 71% and some believe up to 92%, it shows up on, gets more business on the first page. Okay, and if you're on the second page, it drops from 71 to the 90% of engagement to down to almost 6, and that's just the second page. So you know, if you're third or fourth, fifth page, basically you can forget being seen. Okay, so the more this is where your keywords really come into play. Okay, click. Okay, you want to create something that's different or better. Add images, whether it's to your blogs or to your, definitely on your website, but don't put too many. But you want something that's not just going to be strictly wording. Okay, you want to make sure that your images, put some images on there that will break up the large amount of text, rather than placing them at the top or the side of the page. A lot of times, put them right in the middle of your text for your content. Okay, next slide. Next click, I should say. Okay, add a hook. Basically, anything that's going to grab their attention. And a good example of that is like backlinks to other places that will give them more information on what they're looking for. That's an excellent hook. But people say, well, won't that drive them to the other site? No, because they know where they came from. The fact that you are giving them this information, they will come back to you knowing that you have given them something of value and benefits to them. Okay, click. Okay, and to optimize your web pages, those comes back down to the specific keywords, and those keywords will allow you to will give you better visibility and identify and drive more traffic. So make sure this is where knowing the keywords is vital to what you're doing for your website to drive business to your site. Next. Okay. If you want to optimize your web pages, what you want to do in this is also another way to do it is to keep the URL address. Don't make it so long, keep it short, and make sure in your URL address, which is the address that goes into the search bar up top or in the middle, that your keyword is in that URL. Okay. If for example, we're doing underwater basket weaving, and underwater basket weaving is not in that URL, it's harder to find you. Or if it's so long, people don't want to type all that stuff. They'll bypass it. Okay. I mean, look at it. Would you do that? That's how you gotta look at it. If it's too long for me to do it, then it gives you an idea. Hey, I better adjust this and make it and shorten it so it makes it easier to utilize. Click. Okay. And make your content look basically look awesome. Add graphs, add charts to your content, especially if you're doing like a blog. Don't write a blog with just a picture on it or just text. Put some information there, put data in there, anything that will keep their interest in what you're writing. And also I want to emphasize, a blog is something you're going to have to do. It's not an option. When it comes to digital marketing, you have to do a blog. And just in general, part of your marketing mix, you have to do a blog. It's one of those necessary evils, but the advantage of the blog is that it will establish you as the expert in your field. Okay. But one thing you don't do, you never hard sell on the blog. On this blog, you put the information that has value and benefits to your target market. Okay. And at the end of your blog, that's where you put your link to your website, or if they're not already in your website, you can get more information that way, or use a backlink to find more information for them to find out more information on the particular subject. But a blog is something that you have to do. And I want to reiterate, you never hard sell. First off, you never hard sell on social media unless you're doing an ad in a way. Okay. Next site. Okay. And build links to your page. Okay. You find a site that has more backlinks and the content is relevant to what your site and stuff is, and you can add that link to yours. This is where the advantage of having, like I said, you got basket weaving. Okay, I'm gonna have a backlink to underwater basket weaving. It's relevant to what you're doing, so it still engages your target market. Okay. Next slide. Let's talk about social media. This is my fun spot. Okay, next. Okay, basically, what is social media marketing? Okay, it's part of your digital marketing strategy. Everybody has to do it. It lets people know that you exist. Okay, and dealing with customers, I know for a fact, okay, everybody has Facebook, but the big places are Facebook, Instagram, depending on your target market. LinkedIn is another one. Understand something. It does not matter what social media that you like. If your target market is not there, it don't mean diddly squat, to be blunt. You have to know where your target market is, the age, the demographics, and find out what they're using. And please, whatever you do, please don't use Facebook as a website. There's nothing worse than seeing somebody use Facebook as a website. That tells me I got an amateur that you're working with. Get a website professionally done or do it yourself, but don't use Facebook as your website. That's not the purpose of it. Okay. So click. Okay. Remember, social media is also how small businesses can build their brand. Okay. That's one of the advantages of social media. And social media can be done inexpensively and free if you do it right. Next slide. Here you go. Now here are your goals for your social media. Building awareness of your business. Let people know that you exist. Okay. Next. Click. Okay. Getting feedback or suggestions from customers. This is a biggie. Too many times small businesses do not reach out to their customers to get feedback from them because sometimes they're afraid they're going to get a negative review. Understand, you aren't there. Your purpose as a business is to solve the customer's problem. That's the whole purpose. That's why you exist. It is not about you. It is about your customers. That's why you are there doing what you're doing. Okay. And getting feedback is the best way to be able to understand, hey, if you have multiple customers saying, hey, the same thing, something may need to be changed or keep things the same, but you won't know unless you get the feedback from the customers. Okay, click. Okay, having customers review or recommend. Now, understand something. Sooner or later, you're going to receive a negative review on social media. It's going to happen. Okay, but the way to do it is that you handle it right away. Do not get down into the weeds with your customers because actually it makes you look bad. And one of the best ways to handle it is that when you see a negative review, first off, make sure you post it. I'm always leery about any business that has nothing but 5 stars because, you know, somebody's always complaining about something, whether it's realistic or not. People just like to complain. If a company has nothing but 5 stars, my red flags go up. There's something wrong with this business. Okay. But when you have a negative complaint, the best way to handle it is be like this. Well, I am sorry that you had a bad experience. How do you think we can make it better for you? It takes the wind right out of the sails. Okay. Negative reviews, you just got to handle it, but handle it the right way. Always be professional when you do it. Okay. Click. Okay. Social media promote sales, specials, events. Click. And it drives more traffic to your website, especially if you're doing things like blogs or making comments. Make comments on other people's sites. Because of this, you're engaging with your target market. And when you engage with the target market, they want to know more about you. It will drive more traffic to your website. Okay, click. And obviously generate phone calls to your business. That's the purpose of social media. It's a great way to generate business if utilized the right way. And I want to reiterate, and it doesn't matter what you like. You need to find out exactly where your target market is based on your market research. And this is how you determine which is the best social media site to use for yourself. Next slide or next click. Okay. And also, like it says, it allows you to collect the email addresses for your email marketing. And people always say, well, how do they open email marketing? There are certain ways where people will open up the certain keywords they can utilize that will open up access to the email. Okay, a lot of times emails are hard for people to, they'll just keep deleting. But how you set up an email, there's a certain way to set up an email where they're curious, they want to open it up and see what's in there. And that's half the battle, is getting them to open up the email. And once they have that, you also get permission to add them to your database. Don't do it on your own. Right now, there's laws that'll stop you from doing that as well. Okay. Next question. Let's click. Next question. Okay. Here's some big mistakes. People who just market their own product, a lot of people don't. I mean, look at it from your idea, your aspect. If you want to know some information, if all you see is their product, that doesn't help you any. The whole purpose is to give them something that is of value and benefit to them. Okay, if it's just your product, everybody doesn't do anything good. And it's okay to mention your competition. In fact, it's a good idea because it actually promotes business. Okay. Next, click. And this is a big old pet peeve for me. In fact, I just had Steve fix one of my problems on my things. There's nothing irritating than reading a blog from a so-called expert and the grammar and the spelling is atrocious. And now you have lost the impact of the blog because now you're locked onto this person can't even write. So don't they even check this stuff? Okay, make sure your spelling and grammar is well. I tend to use, I like my personal preference. I like Grammarly. It's kind of, I mean, I spell and sometimes I don't speak well, but I spell and write grammar. My grammar is pretty good. But Grammarly I use as a backup in case I miss something, and you will miss something. I mean, nobody's perfect, but what you don't want is a blog or something in your website that's nothing but mistakes. It becomes a distraction. Okay. Next. Okay. And here's another one. If you're going to post a link, before you post it, make sure it works. There's nothing. I use the word embarrassing, is that you post a link also and it doesn't work because you didn't check it out ahead of time to make sure it did work. Okay, this is kind of a good thing for you, and it's also helps you look better in front of your clients as well. I mean, you show that you take the time to do a good job. Next. Okay, posting content that's basically what it is if it doesn't matter, why post it? Okay, the whole idea, understand something. If it doesn't have any value or benefit to your demographic, to your target market, all you doing is blowing hot air. And the main thing to understand, content is king. It's not what you sell or anything else. It's the content. If it doesn't have any value or benefit to your target market, it doesn't mean diddly squat. Okay, it has to have some value. The two words I always want you to remember, especially when it comes to running the business, it's not the price, it's the value and the benefits that you offer your target market. Okay, click. And this is kind of like the same thing for never argue or engage in heated discussions. That's no matter, and it's going to happen no matter how hard it is to try to avoid it. It will happen. I always use the little acronyms that you always be nice until there's a point to not be nice. But even then, you could be nice not being nice, and it'll work. It'll work. The idea is that you always try to, no matter how badly you're going to pop them in the mouth, you always keep your cool and be professional from beginning to end. And believe it or not, two things that happen: either they'll be too embarrassed to deal with you, or they'll remember, hey, this person was professional. I want to do business with this particular person. Click. Let's talk about content. Like I said, content is king. Click. Okay. Like I said, content marketing is a marketing strategy used to attract, engage, and retain an audience by creating and sharing relevant articles, videos, podcasts, and other media. Okay. This is kind of, in a nutshell, says what I've been saying the whole time. Understand something. The content that you write establishes you as an expert in your field. That's one of the advantages of doing a blog. If I had a couple, a young lady who was working with horses, and she was in the Army, and she was going overseas in Germany. She said she wanted to start her business once she gets back. I told her, look, no, while you were gone, write a blog about horses. You are very knowledgeable about it, and you have value and benefits to people who will be your target market. And then once you return to the States, they say, hey, I'm back. But now she stayed in front of people and established herself as an expert in her field. Okay, but it has to be relevant, and it'll promote your brand as well. Okay. And one other thing, the word branding. Think about it this way. A lot of people think branding is, the logos and the taglines and all this kind of stuff. But understand something. The main thing about the branding, you are the brand. How you do business is the brand. Your expertise is the brand. Okay, just keep that in mind. It's not just your logo and your tagline. It's how you do business. Okay, next slide. And here's a little graphic of different types of content marketing. Click. Okay. Social media, we talked about. These different channels, these different content marketing include social media. Click. Video content. Vlogs are a big thing right now. A good example, I like using YouTube. YouTube is a great place. I can fix things on YouTube that I couldn't do before, but it has value and benefit to myself, especially as old as I am. I'll be able to do this stuff. Click. Blogs. You know, I know I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but you have to blog. And that's the blogs will establish you as the expert in your field. Click. Infographics. Infographics are things that are, think of information, especially if you have a lot of data information, the infographic, you're putting graphics with this information, it makes it easier to understand. A lot of times just seeing the words doesn't help it, but if you have an infographic, it can actually show I use the words, the pictures themselves will actually relate to what's being written, so it makes it easier to understand. This is a very, very good tool to get your point across or get the information out that you're trying to get out. Click. Case studies. It's obvious, you know, things of your business. Case studies of new advances in underwater basket weaving has proven this. The reviews of underwater basket weaving has done this. Okay, these things you want to emphasize or refer to so people can follow up on it as well. Next, ebooks. Ebooks are also a good thing. They don't have to be anything fancy out there, nothing big, long. People say, well, I don't know how to write. There's so many places you can go, even on Amazon, to find ways to write an ebook. This is think about it as a huge blog. Think about it that way. You're establishing yourself as an expert, and it gives you more exposure, which will also drive more business to you and your website. Next, educational articles. This is what I'm talking about. When it comes to things like benefits and value, this is why you don't try to hard sell. Write articles on something that's going to be of value. I wrote articles on marketing plans, on how a lot of times managers are the worst things that can happen to businesses, because they tend to forget that it's not about them, it's about his business. But it was informational and it was educational. It makes a big difference. It has value and it has benefit. Click. White papers and newsletters. White papers, like I said, informational. Newsletters. Newsletters are a great way to keep your customers engaged, that you reach out to them to saying, hey, this is what's happening. Understand something. You don't want to always be trying to upsell. Okay, giving them things that they can be a benefit. Newsletters have things like, hey, here's a new recipe for this. There's a new restaurant in the town. Here's a new, when it comes down to your type of business, here's what's happening in the industry. Believe it or not, newsletters are very valuable to keep yourself in front of your target market. Okay, click. Webinars. Yep, webinars are kind of self-explanatory, you know, and people say, well, my business doesn't do webinars. There's not a business out there that cannot utilize webinars to their advantage. Between webinars, speaking engagements, podcasts, they are all benefits that will drive business to you, because it establishes you as the expert in your field. Okay, click. And sometimes it doesn't have to be serious all the time. Throw in some fun stuff every now and then. Throw in some, and the word is GIFs, not GIFs. It's GIFs. Okay, memes. Something that make things lighten it up a little bit. Make it fun. Okay, you can always add that to your websites and to your online newsletters as well. Click. I feel like I want to call Steve Alexa. Okay. And the advantage of this stuff is that you will also be able to answer specific questions that people have, and provide them something they can get that they can't get elsewhere. You're the expert. They want to come to you for the answers in that particular field. Okay, that's the advantages of doing this stuff. And understand something. This is something that you cannot avoid, It has to be done in one form or another. And if you can't do it, find somebody who can do it for you or hire somebody. Okay. Click. Oh, there's a Q&A. I don't remember putting that in there. That's okay.
No, that's the end of your deck.
Oh, yeah.
We reached the end. All right. Well, thank you, Kat. That was really an awesome presentation. Done right just under the timeline. Let's see.
Cool.
We're going to do some Q&A now, and we've got just a couple extra minutes, which is great. That gives us an opportunity to do the Q&A. If you have questions, please put them in the Q&A box. It's really kind of hard to track them in the chat box. I will track those. I'll ask them to Kat as I read them off. If the ones we don't get to today, if we run out of time, we will follow up. Kat and I will put our heads together, draft up some good answers, and send them out hopefully by the end of next week. So with that, I'm going to open up the Q&A box and we'll go from there. All right, Kat, looks like first question is, how do you avoid imposter syndrome here?
Oh, yeah, that can be tough. But one of the things is you're, believe it or not, when you start putting out the information, you know, with a certain style that belongs to you. Okay. If you find somebody utilizing it, address it. In fact, address it in your articles or your online and call them out. Also be aware that anything that if I'm assuming this correctly, we're talking about imposter syndrome as in your information that you're utilizing, or are we talking about somebody impersonating your particular business? If they're, this is where some of the legal aspect can come into play. If they're trying to impersonate your business, this is where having your company registered, your brand registered, because it's too easy. If your brand is not registered, your name, your tagline, that registered, anybody can steal it, okay, or use your information. The idea is to try to protect it legally. Make sure that somebody start using your stuff, either that you send them a cease and desist letter or tell them to pay you for using your information, okay? Since I don't really have all the information that you're looking for, I'm assuming it's either one of the two, but there's ways that you can protect yourself, especially legally. Because, and for example, your blogs and everything else, by law, anything that you write by law belongs to you. And I'm not a lawyer, this is my disclaimer, but this is just information I'm passing on from a legal aspect. Hopefully, I answered your question. Is there anything, if it's more specific, let me know.
Yep, the ask of the question might be able to clarify, and they just put in the Q&A and we'll get back down to it here. All right, so next question is a couple questions on SEO, and I'll just read them one at a time, Kat. Number one is, I use Weebly as my website. At the bottom of each of my items, I own a retail store with the items listed online. It has a space at the bottom for the permalink, SEO title, and SEO description. Can you offer examples of what this person would put in there and what the purpose of those spaces are?
Okay, so it just popped up. Are you looking for the keywords to go in there? If
It looks like they're looking, yeah, what is the permalink? What are the good examples of the permalink, SEO title, and SEO description? And what's the purpose of those spaces? Okay.
The idea is, I hope I'm mentioning this the right way. I hope I understand this thing, what you're looking for. If you're looking for links to go specifically, you should have certain keywords in those spaces that I mentioned underwater basket weaving, right? In those links, the term underwater basket weaving should be in those links. I'm hoping I'm doing this right. I'm not a web expert, but I do know certain links that you have to utilize to send it directly to your site. I would also talk to a IT person who is really an expert on addresses. But what I know is that you want to make sure that whatever you want that's going to drive business to your site, your keywords has to reflect your business name, your product, whatever. You know, you do like the / let's say underwater Jackson / underwater basket weaving / and it keeps driving it back to your main site. I'm hoping I'm not being too vague. I hope that helps you out. Did it help any? Let me know.
All right. Next question is, what are good example of keywords and how many should a business have?
Oh, A good example of keywords, it all depends on your business. The keywords, if I'm looking for, like I said, I'm gonna use the term underwater bass weaving. Let's say I'm looking for something to, where do I start? So I'll type in underwater bass weaving, and if I find something that has, that spider will go out and say, hey, this particular article or blog covers underwater bass weaving, and you can actually have, believe it or not, you can actually have too many keywords in there. I would have it in your title, have it somewhere in your website, have it in your throughout the article or white paper that you write, or the About Us section of your website. You throw in, whenever possible, whenever it's relevant, put in underwater bass weaving. That will help you out. Okay, and you can actually have too many, where you end up messing up the message that you're trying to impart. I say in a paragraph, I would say the keyword should be there at least 3 to 4 times in a paragraph, if that helps you out any. Because that way, the more it has, and make sure it's in the title and on your website. Hope that helps.
That was needed. The next one is we're talking about the H1 and H2 headers. What are the purpose of those practically and bigger picture, and how do those help SEO rankings?
I say that again.
Those H1 and H2 headers, the question is, what is the purpose of them and how do they help with the SEO rankings?
Okay. Honestly, like I said, for me, this is kind of like not my super expertise, but I do know in the headings, the first and the sub, I'll call it H1, H2, that because the keywords are in there, this is like when that spider goes out, it'll start working from the top of the for example, the article, and work its way down. The headings will help you stand out, and put it in your subheadings you can put it in subheading as well. The idea is the more places that you have those keywords, the more that spider will lock onto it and will drive that particular article to that person who's looking for it. Like I said, I'm not an IT expert, but when it comes down to social media, I know there's certain headers that you need to have, and the main thing they're looking for is those keywords have got to be in there. Okay, whether it's this H1 or H2, but it has to be relevant. You just can't just throw it in there and make sure that it flows the right way. I hope that helps.
Awesome. I'll just interject here. This is a great opportunity. There's a ton of training out there available to go a little deeper dive on some of these, how to plug these SEO terms into your website as you develop it. And as Kat said, it's always good to work with a good web developer, web designer as you're building up your website. There's can't be enough said on getting that done properly. And it'll help your business and you out in the long run. All right. So another one says, thank you, Kat. Okay. Do you think you can substitute a vlog, video log for a blog?
Yes, but I would, yes, you can, but I would do both. Okay, some people prefer to read, other people like the video logs. It all depends on your demographic, and a lot of times it depends on the age of the demographic. Some people prefer, I give an example, if I'm dealing with a business that have baby boomers, they tend to be more prevalent to read stuff as opposed to go to a video. Where I'm dealing with millennials or the new generation Z, a vlog is even better. But I highly recommend doing both, or have one that will reinforce the other. Okay. Now I understand the vlogs also may take time to put together, but also it does not have to be perfect. Okay, because if you try to make things perfect, you'll never get it done. The main thing is get the right information out that is relevant, no matter how pretty it looks or anything else. The idea is get the information that the people are looking for, that the benefits they'll receive from it. Okay.
Excellent. I'm going to skip a question down because this one actually ties into that. How often should you blog or vlog?
That can vary. I would start out initially, some people do it every day. I would start out maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks, just to get your foot in the door. And then the more people you start reading, more I say potential customers that you have reading your stuff, then increase the what's the word we're looking for, Steve? you want to increase your output, okay? But also understand something is that make sure that every time you write a blog, it has to be pertinent, and try to avoid doing the same things over and over again, because after a while, people will stop logging into you because they know they're not getting anything new. Okay, it has to be relevant. I would personally, this is my personal opinion, is to I would start out like once every 2 weeks to get you going. This way, you don't burn yourself out, and people will look forward to your next. It's kind of like when you binge watch a show. After a while, you got to take a break. It's kind of the same thing. You know, about every 2 weeks, once a month would be too small, but about every 2 weeks, put something out there that will keep people's attention. Okay.
Alrighty, and then let's see here. Are there any resources for someone to take a look at our website and social media for an opinion?
Actually, there are. In fact, I know Google actually had. If you type in website evaluators into your search engines, you'll have a bunch of them pop up on there. I know Google has one. There's 3 or 4 other ones. I'm not going to say a particular one because I'm not promoting anybody in particular, but there are quite a few places out there that can evaluate your website for free. Okay, just be aware of that. But I also highly recommend getting a hold of a web designer. Okay, make them part of your power team, make them part of your team, because they're going to be the experts in your field. Using things like Wix and Weebly is all great and good to start, but you need somebody who's the expert in what they do. That's why I have my own IT person, because I'm not an expert. I'm an OFF switch guy. So if I have questions, I go talk to him about stuff I don't understand. I highly recommend hooking up with a web person, and don't be afraid to invest in your business monetarily wise. But there's places online you can find, just type in website evaluators and you see a bunch of them pop up, and go from there.
There's a clarification next on the imposter syndrome. And it's something I think a lot of us get. I had it when I graduated law school. Like, am I a real lawyer? Right? I've got this degree. It's those things. Am I really real? And it's the thing about, I don't have the PhD in it, so I'm not a real expert. And myself as a business coach, advisor, I would say, if you're running that business, you are the expert in it. It's not a degree required situation. You may want to do a little extra reading here and there to beef up some of the ways you talk about your business, but absolutely, by you running that business, you should be an expert in your field.
But here's the thing is that no matter what you do, like Steve was saying, no matter what you do, you should be constantly staying on top of what's happening in your business, in your industry. Okay, because if you don't, it is not fair to you, and it's not fair to your customers. You should be constantly staying on top of what's happening in your industry, what new things are coming down, what is there new procedures, or there's new laws, anything that's going to affect your business. The more you stay on top of it, the more you are establishing yourself as an expert. It also gives you more things to be able to write about and pass the information on to your customers. If you don't do this, you don't grow, not necessarily physically, but as a business owner, you should need to stay on top of what's happening in your industry, and it makes you a better business person, and your customers will appreciate it.
And this will probably be our last question we'll get to before we take a short break. Let's see, by registering, do you mean trademarking? Is there a different way, or is there a different / cheaper or easier way to do so?
Okay, when it comes to things like trademarks and one of the things is, if you're writing a blog, okay, you can register your trade. You actually register your blog if you want, but that can get kind of expensive. And I want to reiterate, this is Kat's opinion. I'm not a lawyer, but one of the best ways to protect your blog is at the end of the article, put that little C, going through Word, going to symbols. There's a C with a circle around it. Put it at the end. If you want to register your stuff with the government, local, state, federal, and you pay some money to get it done, and you end up with an R with a circle on it, that means it's been registered. My personal opinion is that for blogs, it can be expensive to have to register each blog. The law says if you write, it belongs to you. So put that little C at the end of it to protect it. But when it comes to your tagline and your logo, please register it. The minimum you can do is go into your Word, and there's a little TM. You're going to symbols, there's a little TM. Put that at the end of your tagline or at the end of your logo, which stands for trademark. Okay, that's what you want to do. Too many times small businesses do not do this. And I'm going to tell you, I have a friend who actually didn't do her business, and now there are porn films being made using her business name, and there's nothing she can do about it because she didn't protect it. Protect you and your business. So when you write something, put that little C at the end of it, or register it, but definitely register your name and your tagline. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Kat, for the presentation. Thank you for the answering the questions. We're going to move in. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back at 12:36. That keeps us on schedule. I know it's a random time, but 12:36 will keep us back on schedule. From there, we're going to meet our 2 spotlight business owners and panelists for today. So we'll see you all back here at 12:36. All right, everybody, let's resume. Back for break. Hope everybody had a chance to stretch. Maybe grab their favorite morning beverage that keeps them going. Actually, it's afternoon now, so our afternoon beverage keeps them going. At this time, I'm going to introduce our panel. Jacob Warren and Annette Washington are two Spotlight Business panelists. They're going to give us a brief introduction in a moment, tell you about their businesses, and then we're going to have a panel discussion with them. So we'll start with Warren Research. Jacob Warren is the owner. In Jacob's own words, he says, Warren Research provides technology management, digital marketing, and cloud services to businesses faced with dynamic challenges. The challenges we face as entrepreneurs in this ever-changing landscape require us to connect and share our experiences in order to adapt and overcome whatever we face. Operation Entrepreneur gives us the opportunity to find, listen, learn, and connect with like-minded individuals who are on the same journey. Jacob, thank you for being a Spotlight Business panelist today. Please give your brief description and take a minute or two to tell us about your business.
Absolutely, and thank you very much for that. And so I'm Jacob Warren. I'm a white man with short, dark brown hair, brown eyes, and a lightly salted full beard with a white operation entrepreneur background. And believe it or not, I think that introduction about summarizes it as well as we can for it. Essentially, we help you get the most out of both technology and digital marketing tools.
Awesome. Thank you, Jacob. And now I'd like to introduce Annette Washington with HG Washington Web LLC. HG Washington Web LLC educates small business owners, helps them strategize and optimize their digital marketing campaigns so they can experience business growth. In Annette's own words, she says, I consider myself a small business advocate. My goal is to help small business owners understand and be successful in the digital marketing space. I can help veteran-owned small businesses as well, and this program will give me the opportunity to help my fellow veterans. And I thank you for being a Spotlight Business and panelist today. Please describe yourself and take a minute or two to tell us about your business.
Hello. Video's not in. My name is Annette Washington. I'm a Black woman with long salt and pepper hair. I'm wearing a black shirt and I'm standing with an Operation Entrepreneur logo on the image as an image similar to the US flag behind me. I am the owner of AG Washington Web and IYBS Local, a digital marketing agency in Renton, Washington, specializing in website design, online marketing services for small business owners.
Awesome. Thank you, Annette. So now we're going to turn to the panel discussion, and I'll start. Annette, I'll let you answer first on this question, and then Jacob, when Annette's finished, it'll be your turn. Let's start off. What's your favorite part of being a small business owner?
Well, I have three favorite parts. The first is I get to help other small business owners compete online. Second, I really get to set my own hours. And third, I get to choose who I want to work with.
And Jacob, what's your favorite part of being a small business owner?
My favorite part is I have to definitely echo the fact that it's helping people within their businesses. One of the greatest things that you can ever do, in my opinion, is be able to truly help somebody else on their journey. And as a small business owner, you get to do that. Not only that, there is a plethora of ways of challenges that you get to figure out how to overcome. And so I would say that's the second thing that's my favorite part.
Awesome, awesome. All right, so next question, Jacob, you're first, Annette, you'll be second. How do you leverage social media marketing in your business?
Yes, so the biggest way that we leverage it is customer service. And what I mean by that is social media on the different platforms that are available, especially for us, it's LinkedIn, is that one-to-one engagement that you get to have with people. Not only that, they are able to find and connect directly to you, and you end up being a part of that conversation ongoingly. It makes it more especially especially over the last 10 or 15 years, there's a lot of larger companies that got to where they're trying to distance themselves as much as possible, whereas small businesses and medium-sized businesses, you can use social media to be one, part of a conversation, two, to provide assistance, not necessarily if they're a client yet, but it's truly about becoming or introducing a two-way conversation that you can then build up on from there.
And Annette, what about you? How do you leverage social media marketing in your business?
Well, I've learned a few things over the years about using social media for growth and sales. Two of the things I've learned is the objective for all social media should be to get the prospect off of the social media platform and into your own owned assets, OWNED. And what I mean by owned assets is something Kat talked about earlier, your email list, your website, text messaging, things like that, because you don't own the social media platform, so you cannot control it. If you get your assets, if you get your prospects off of there, then you can get them into your own, and then you can contact them, you can talk to them anytime, and you can also get some sales, but it's under your control. The second thing is we started adapting a social content recipe, so to speak, which allows us to post engaging and interesting content on a schedule. So following this recipe helps us to keep, and my business owners, I mean, my customers as well, keep an active social media account, because that is one of the things that, you know, you just don't have time as a business owner to create all this or engage in all of the social media platforms that your customers are on. This allows you to do that. So you end up with engaging the fans and the followers for your own creations. In other words, you can take them off and put them into the your owned assets, as I spoke of before.
Awesome, that's excellent. So Annette, I'll go with you. Since you just, how has your military experience been an advantage for you as a business owner?
Okay, so like Kat, I grew up in the military also. So I have my military parents, and of course I served as well. Now, because of that, I believe that it has given me a global outlook and the ability to comfortably engage in conversation with people from all walks of life. I'm very comfortable in any setting. So I think that's an advantage that has given me an advantage as a business owner. My military experience has also given me strength, confidence, and tenacity, as running a business is a slippery slope of ups and downs.
Yes, yes, yes. And Jacob, how's your military experience been an advantage for you as a business owner?
Adapting and overcoming whatever is thrown at you. I mean, as a business owner, daily, there's always these different challenges that you might not ever see coming, but my military experience has shown me that, hey, one, it gave me the drive and the tenacity, in using her words, is to be able to overcome those challenges and continue to drive forward even when it looks a bit rough ahead. And so it makes it, I definitely appreciate that.
Awesome. Well, speaking of adapting and overcoming, what, if any, changes have you made to your business due to the pandemic? And we'll start with you, Jacob.
Yeah, for technology and digital marketing as a whole, a lot of the times, well, most of the time you're doing everything online within cloud platforms and so forth. And so the biggest thing that I guess we adapted to is really doing what we're doing here, is making almost where it's Zoom or GoToMeeting first, and then the in-person connections after, or a little bit later down the road. So it's really that focus on virtual and how can you truly connect with people using this medium. And so it's that piece.
Awesome. Annette, what about you? What if any changes have you made to your business due to the pandemic?
Well, like Jacob, I'm in the digital marketing space. So a lot of things I was doing was already online, but I wanted to help. especially because my past career was, I have a 30-year career in the food business. I knew that those business owners would need the help. So I started contacting other associations and organizations and offering workshops that would help these small business owners, particularly in the food industry, but anywhere else as well, to get their business online, because you'd be surprised how many of them did not have any online assets at all, besides an empty or ghosted social media account. So I started getting to work doing these workshops and online marketing service that will help them learn how to take advantage of the opportunities that are available online. And this in turn helps them make more informed decisions about their marketing efforts. I also decided to focus more on the food industry. So that was one shift I did make. Which was really hard, because when you're in digital marketing, you want to help everybody. But I see, and it's not just restaurants in the food industry, there's a whole lot of other types of businesses out there that need help in this industry. So that was probably the biggest thing. My business was always home-based, so there was not much of a change in that part. What changed was that the businesses I serve, as I mentioned, and you get to see how fragile you are as a business owner through this pandemic. So I became more focused. I mean, I realized I didn't want to be a one-size-fits-all kind of business.
Interesting. All righty. So Annette, what is one thing you wish you had known before you started your business?
Okay, so I worked for myself most of my adult life. I started out again in the food business, but it was mostly because I didn't want to work for anybody else. So every place I moved, I just opened a restaurant, and actually that was kind of easy to do. Maintaining it was the real challenge. For that much, I used everything I learned from being in the military in my business. I created SOPs for the staff on it, with the recipes and things like that. And I think I had a good handle on the management. If anything, I wish I had more knowledge in the area of finance, because most of that was done seat of the pants until I actually learned how to do it better. So I would just have been more successful faster if I had that kind of experience.
Jacob, what about you? What's one thing you wish you had known before you started your business?
The one thing I think I wish I'd known better, other than Annette is right on, the finances are critical to understand, especially with cash flow management. The other item is that you will be busier and you will be rushing around and putting fires out at the first part of growing your business more than you have ever in anything else in your life. And so it's really key to make sure to get your time management and down to wherever you can, and realize that whatever you plan your days going, or what it's going to look like, it is definitely not going to go that way.
Yeah, understood. And I think a lot of business owners could really benefit from, just getting some good training on the business financials and managing the finances of business, because it can be a little bit tricky at times, and that's where SBA resource partners like the Ebooks can come in really handy. There's my shameless plug for the Ebooks and resource partners, those SCORE, Women's Business Center, SBDC, and so forth. And so my last question for each of you, and Jacob, you'll go first on this one. What piece of advice would you give to a business owner today?
To an existing, or to someone looking to start a business, I would say, number one, start. There's going to be challenges ahead. Start and go after it. For existing business owners, is don't be afraid to reach out to other business owners, whether it's in a service that you need or even your competitors. This is something that was echoed before. This is a community, especially as us as veterans, there is a huge community out there that relationships matter, and that's how we succeed from all walks of life.
Annette, what piece of advice would you give to a business owner today?
Okay,
Just starting up or existing? Yeah.
Well, two short ones. One is just to stay on course. I mean, it's going to go like this. But as long as you're focused and you have, you know, an end, kind of an end game, you know where you want to be, just stay on the path and you'll get there eventually. It will happen. Second, look to your customers for all your answers. If you know who your customers are, as Kat mentioned earlier, you know, if you know who they are, you can solve any issue. You will make money. They will come, they will stay with you. They will come to you and stay with you throughout the whole entire course. Like I said, if you know who your customer are, who your customer is, then that's the piece of advice I have for you.
Awesome. Thank you both. Thank you both for your service, Jacob and Annette. Thank you for sharing your experiences in small business with our military connected business owner community. And now we get to the kind of fun part of the day. We get to give out a couple of prizes here. And so let's find out. A little drum roll for that.
All right. We've got some wonderful prizes. So we're giving away 2 bundles, 2 online courses, thanks to Allison Bishon's Consulting, who generously donated. So we've got 2 winners. The first winner is going to be Doug Owens. So congratulations, you're going to get this online bundle, social media course and workbooks. And then also Renee Tover, you will also get this bundle. Congratulations. We also have a $50 Target gift card, which is going to Victor Tran. So congratulations to our 3 winners.
That is awesome. Well, congratulations to those winners. Thank you, Faith, for letting us know who those were. I want to say thank you to our sustaining partners, and that is, of course, the SBA, USDA, Boeing Employees Credit Union, Harborstone Credit Union, Verity Credit Union, Sound Credit Union, and Washington State Employees Credit Union. Business Impact Northwest appreciates all your support. And then now I want to introduce tomorrow's MC, today's VBOT Coach of the Day, Lexi Amstutz. Lexi is a former business owner. She's our Boots to Business instructor and business coach in Fairbanks, Alaska area. She's going to be the master of ceremonies. Tomorrow's topic are business portability and e-commerce, all about setting up a portable business that can be run from anywhere in the world. Thinking about those military spouses out there who tend to follow their active duty spouse around and need some type of employment or entrepreneurship to help sustain the family. And so I want to thank you all for attending. I want to thank the presenting sponsor, Union Bank, another organization that we couldn't bring this event to you without their support. Whether you're a veteran, military spouse, or supportive military connected business owners, we appreciate your attendance today, and that's all of you in the audience. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow for a presentation on business portability and e-commerce. We're going to be talking about setting up businesses that can be run from just about anywhere on the globe. And with that, thank you, everybody. We will see you all tomorrow.